Hello, everybody. I am yet again Price McKinney, simply put. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening. Before we go another further, make sure you go to my YouTube, Simply Put Podcast with Price McKinney. Like, subscribe, watch your video, leave a comment. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Uh, it's all the same. Simply Put with Price McKinney or by Price McKinney. So, we're gonna dive right into this head first. My last video we talked about blame and um, how it's important for you to make sure that when you point the finger at somebody else, that you address and deal with the three fingers that are pointing back to you, and make sure that you're working on yourself. And in the case that your relationship didn't go the way you expected it or the way you planned, um, take some time to assess and look at what your part in that was, because it's easy to say she did this, he did that, when you're emotional, when you're angry, when you're hurt, when you're upset, when you've been betrayed, when you've been stabbed in the back. And again, as I said before, I'm not saying that you're wrong for that at all. Trust me, I've had my share of it. However, you have to look at, okay, what could I have done different within that you didn't actually do, and or how do I make myself better for me in the next one. So this one I'm gonna title it "Make Sure dot dot dot." Okay. So what I want to make clear is why you working on yourself, why you are becoming a better you, why you're becoming a better person. The things you accepted and tolerated prior to, you don't deal with that anymore, because you've gotten to the point, you've reset your standards, you shortened and brought in your boundaries, um, which all of those things are great. But I want you to make certain that when you decide to go for the next one, right, you're in position to make a better decision whereby you don't let history keep repeating itself. Some of us have a habit, I myself included, um, of picking the same type of person. And what you've got to figure out is what is it within me that keeps drawing and attracting this exact same thing. And it becomes smoke screened by a different personality. However, it still winds up being the same person. So as you're working on you, right? Whatever you're doing, whatever you need to do, that you're assessing yourself, you're doing a personal evaluation, whatever it is that you're doing, and however you do it. Number one, make sure it works for you. Even if, and hear me clearly, you have to get a counselor. It doesn't mean you're crazy, retarded, lunatic, shot up in the, it doesn't mean any of that. It just means I need added help. Somebody that can help me dig this stuff up, bring it to the surface, and get rid of it, and get on a different path. I did it for a long time. But what I want to emphasize is make sure as you're doing this and as you're preparing for whatever your next is, that you select somebody that is going to be in your corner. Make sure that you're picking a person that is going to be there for you. Say, for example, you have a bad hair day and you just flat tank out. When you get home and you talk about it, you air out, whether you call him or whether you text him, whatever, that person listens and does not become judged. Well, you shouldn't have did it. You know better. Da, 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 da. No, let you have your airtime, right? And this is just an example. Let you have your airtime, vent, get it off your chest, and then bring you back to reality gracefully by way of, you know what? I get it. I understand. Now, how are you going to handle this tomorrow? What are we going to do to keep this from reoccurring? Or if it does happen again, what steps do we need to take so that you don't wind up losing your job or you don't wind up being in a bad position, right? Make certain that person helps you take the next positive step forward, not keep dragging you and pulling you backwards. Because if you're with someone, and please understand this, if you're with someone and you're not growing, you're not developing, you're not becoming better, you're not maturing, you're not on the right path, you're into something that for you it's uncomfortable, and you're in a space where I can't function, flow, and flourish right where I'm at. If you're being hindered, if you're being suppressed, if those things are happening, you need to question, why am I in this? And why have I chosen this particular person? Because if the relationship is not making you better, or the person you're with is not helping you become better, what is the purpose of you being with them? If you're the one putting all of the effort in, if you're the one doing all of the planning, and it goes for male or female, it's not limited to one gender. If you're doing all of the work, you're the only one try, well, hey, I think I need to stop doing this. I don't need to say this. I don't need to keep talking to you like this. I don't need to keep saying this. I don't need to keep reacting this way. And you keep progressively going backwards, instead of you've got to question and ask yourself, what am I doing? We've all been in relationships. What in the ham sandwich was I thinking? And if you're middle aged like I am, 50, I'm 52. If you're in your late 30s on up to 60ish, in that age bracket, and we've all been there. Like, what on God? You know how you you look back on something, you just scratch your head and kind of knock and see if anything is still left in there, because there's no way a logical you would have made that decision to deal with that, but you did. We've all been there. So to keep that from happening again, and to make sure that you're not going backwards, that you are progressing forward, and like one of my buddies said, he said it best: progress is a slow process. Give it, and I've said this 1,008 times, give yourself time, give that person time. Now, if on the front end you see, okay, nah, this just ain't right, bow out gracefully. Don't waste your time. Don't waste a person's time. And I'm trying. I'm really trying. Let me say this too, okay? Stop only looking for red flags. For some of us, and I find myself guilty of it too, that's the only thing you look for, is what's wrong with the person. Let's try this for a change, okay? This is, it may be a challenge. Start looking for the green flags. Try that out. What is it you always hear? And I'm jumping the gun. I'm going, but I got to say this. You always hear people say, what is wrong with me? Right? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with him? What is wrong with her? Well, this is wrong. That's wrong. This is wrong. We can easily point out the wrongs and the faults. Start looking for what's right. Because what happens to most of us, we filter everything that we look at in that next person through the pain that we've been in or still in. And that's not fair to you, ma'am. That's not fair to you, sir. And it's definitely not fair to the person you're dealing with. So again, I want to emphasize the fact, make sure that you pick somebody that is helping you to become a better you, and vice versa, you helping them to become a better them. It's not, and be careful with that, because there's a fine line in between helping them become better and trying to make them change. It's not your job to change them. That ain't your job. That's not what you're designed to do. That's not what you're there for. Right? Let's be clear about that. That is not your job to change them. It's for you to help them become better. And you have to find out, and this comes through communication. You have to find out and figure out, how do I say this to where they're not offended, but they can accept and receive what I'm saying in love, and because that constructive criticism. How can I do this without it coming off as being harmful or hurtful? It's all in your approach. That's all in how you say what you say. And it's not rocket science. You don't have to, you know, go take a class on this. It's just, hey, listen, can we have a conversation? Can we talk about this for a second? And make sure that that some people are gonna take it the wrong way, some people won't. But if the person is really attentive and like you, trying to do the right thing, they'll hear it. That my buddy says it best. You ain't gonna like. He tells me this all the time. You ain't gonna like what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I know the place that what he's saying and telling me is coming from. He wants to see his little brother do better. He wants to see him become all that I'm supposed to be, right? So he has no problem. He's one of my older brothers, as I call him. He has no problem telling me, hey, man, no, that ain't, no, you don't need to do that. That ain't how this works. And he will tell me on the front end, you ain't gonna like what I'm about to say, especially if I ask him. We have a relationship to where big brother, little brother. If I ask him, strap up because I know the truth is coming, and he has no problem with that. So I said that to say this: how you say what you say, make sure it's graceful. Make sure you present it to where it's not tension and where it's not harmful. Some people they just don't want to do better. And if you realize and recognize that that's the person you're dealing with, guess what? Check the deuces, because you don't need to waste your time. You're trying to build something. You're trying to do better for yourself and for the relationship. If that's not what they are, then let them be what they want to be. Let them do what they do. I tell people all the time, do what you do and keep the train moving. So again, I'm Price McKinney, Simply Put. This is Simply Put Podcast. I want to thank you for listening. Again, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Simply Put with Price McKinney. But most importantly, go to my YouTube channel, Simply Put Podcast with Price McKinney. I'm not an expert. I just know what I know, and I promise you, I'll see you soon.